Standard form for a hyperbola, remember that it uses subtraction, not addition. Okay, so if it opens up and down, the y coordinate is the positive one. If it opens up and right, the x coordinate is the positive one.
Before the subtraction sign.
And f is no longer subtraction, it is now the hypotenuse. I'm not going to make you draw a separate special thing to show you where that comes from, but I just noticed that for hyperbolas, it's just opposite. So, for instance, if this next problem was an ellipse, I'd do 36 minus 16. This I'm doing 36 plus 16. So I always just think of it as do the opposite. Okay, so for the asymptotes are the guiding lines, and that is something we need to talk about during class. But the guiding lines are the lines that the hyperbola, so this hyperbola, let's see, negative 5, negative 2, negative 2, negative 5, and then it opens up and down. That's the center. There's these guide lines that help you draw the hyperbola. So what happens is the hyperbola is up and down, getting closer and closer to these guide lines. So to get the guidelines, to get the asymptote lines, we first of all ignore the 1. And move the terms to either side. If the x term is negative, I just move it. If the y term is negative, I move it and switch signs, because I want to have y minus 5, y plus 5 squared over 16 equals x plus 2 squared over 36. Then I take the square roots. So I have y plus 5 over 4 equals, when you take a square root, it's plus or minus. There's two different lines. Okay, so now here's the cute trick. I'm going to put the x plus 2 in parentheses and think of it as plus or minus 1/6 x plus 2, because then I can get the point slope form for a line really easily. I move the 4 over
by multiplying on top of the 6.
And I have point slope form.
And you can leave the plus 5 on the left side. They're both called point slope form.
So I have two different lines, and I want to write the two different lines. So the asymptotes are going to be y equals negative 5 plus 2/3 x plus 2, and y equals negative 5 minus 2/3 x plus 2. Okay, so let's complete some squares and see what we can get from this. Here, let me just start completing the squares. I'm going to have 25x squared minus 100x, and then minus 4y squared plus 48y. Move the 144 to the other side. Okay. Factor out the leading terms so we can complete the square easily. I have gimmicked these so that the numbers are nice. I'm factoring a negative out of this, so this becomes minus 12y.
Negative 4 times negative 12 to give me positive 48. That's
Okay,
why.
so what do I do next? Half the middle and square it. And then I'll have 25 times 4 that I have to add to that side. And then half the middle, half of 12 is 6. We're adding 36. This time it's negative 4 times 36. Time to stuff into calculator. We get a grand total of 100. Well, that's cute. So I have yeah, don't ask me why I like color coding. Color coding is fun. Divide everybody by 100. Is it a coincidence that this turns into over 4? No. It's just hard to make the numbers whole numbers if you don't cause that sort of thing to happen.
4 and 25 basically just switch. Times 25 with the x, divide by 25 with the y.
Okay, so we are ready to look. What does it want? Center of vertices focuses, let's see, center is going to be 2, 6. The vertices, we need A. A is not 25, A is 4. Sorry, A squared is 4.
Doesn't go with the biggest term for hyperbolas. Goes for the positive one, the one before the subtraction sign. Be careful with that.
So remember, A goes with the positive term even when it's smaller. F squared is 4 plus 25. So F is square root of 29, whatever. It's hard to make everything come out nice. So and notice that A is in the x direction. So the vertices are going to be, change the x coordinate. I know all of my examples keep changing the x coordinate. It's only a coincidence, so be careful. A is 2, and then the focuses add plus or minus, well, okay. Plus or minus square root of 29. Okay, so my two vertices are 4, negative 6, and 0, negative 6. My two focuses are 2 plus root 29, negative 6, and 2 minus root 29, negative 6. My asymptotes let me just do a little work down here. I'm going to take y minus 6 over 5 equals plus or minus x minus 2 over 2. So square rooting, moving the x term to the other side, then remember that I want it in point slope form. It's easier to just do that. So then I'm gonna just move the 5 to the other side. So y minus 6 equals 5 halves x minus 2, and y minus 6 equals negative 5 halves x minus 2. And I don't care if you leave the 6 on that side or move it over.